The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, today is 27th of November 2017. Myself and John are your hosts, and it's the weekly Noyantis Usergroup Meeting. So first of all, apologies for late cancellation last week. I knew I was away, I was over in France. I took all the equipment with me and so on, and I thought I would do the broadcast from France, but the Wi-Fi just wasn't going to be strong enough to hold it. I did connect up with a couple of clients and it was dropping out all the time, so just apologies for that. But it wouldn't have been strong enough. But we're here this week. Sorry,
we waited for a while. We waited for a while last week, and then we went ahead and started it up because David had a question about ChillCat ActiveX and stuff. So we went through that, and I recorded it. I need to send it to you so you can post it.
Please, yes. Oh, well, excellent. Thank you very much for that, John. That's greatly appreciated. So, there's an English term, and I'm not sure if you have it in your own countries, but it's one of these, you wait forever. You wait forever for a bus, and then two come along at the same time. And the same can be said for a quick update. So, last week, I would have been announcing that version 4 of all the templates are available to you. So they basically were released last week. This week, version 4.01 is available. So there you go, 2 updates in quick succession. And the change of this is version 4 from last week was the new theme selection, which I'll quickly show here in a second. And then version 4.01 is an actual fix to that. Now, it would only catch you out under certain circumstances, but we've got a fix for that anyway. And obviously, Kojak in the last week have released a new build, version 18.2.0, so this now supports 18.2.0. I can see we've got a raised hand, and Roberto's trying to grab our attention.
Hello.
Hi, Roberto.
I still got questions about ChillCat, even though they looked at that last week. But
Oh, okay. Well, we'll cover that
wait.
shortly. Yeah. Yep, we'll cover that shortly. That's no problem. So for the update, just let me bring one of the sample apps in so you can see it. It's one of my test apps, actually. But won't be a second. I'll just do it on the other monitor. Okay, yeah, we'll just copy that one back as an in progress. It's not, it's past completion. But yeah. So this is a little test app. I think we used it a long time ago in one of the Friday webinars where we did 2 or 3 of them in weekly successions. But the new theme selection, just quickly cover it now, in case anybody hasn't seen it, is you go onto the particular control, you choose your version, as you can see, because this is 4.01. The website isn't updated, I was just doing it, but all the installers are there available. If you log in and re-download, you'll start getting 4.01 as your...
Yeah, I was going to say that. It only says 4.0.0, but...
Yep,
okay. Glad you made that clear.
It was literally in progress as the webinar started. So, in fact, here is my Turando app, as you can see, and I'm just going down them. So, so literally as we speak, there they are. Okay, so back to the this build. So you've got 18.2 available as the Kojak version, and now when you select your themes, we can say, okay, we want 2013, and you want a whole host of them available to you. I'll go back to my Office 6 for this app, Office 2016. I was using Excel Colourful. So you've still got the specify should you want to. Just go down, click specify, and it will let you type in the ini section of the theme file that you want to use. but I won't. We'll use the Office, Excel. And the bug between 4.0 and 4.01 was if you was using multiple controls and using the specify on just one of them, and in the order that you'd use the specify last would have caught you out. Now there is no problem with that. You can put them in any order and so on and so forth. I found that today and I've just fixed it. So quickly recompile this up. Okie dokie. So now we can see, I don't know if anyone does remember this app, it's one we did, it's got to be a few years ago. But it's taken on the Excel 2016 colour themes. So we can see our command bars are Excel and 2016. Docking panes, the active pane, obviously that's taking that on. If we go to the calendar, that's Excel colour theme, and let's go to something like emails, something that's got a bit of data in there. Not very much data in this, but basically, you know, the highlighting is in the Excel green, and so is the shortcut bar, as you would expect. So, apps looks a little nicer, a little better. And one thing, I don't know if anyone had noticed, but in the Kojak 18.2 build, there was reports of some of the icons painting, well, not painting very nicely actually, in 18.01, and Kojak acknowledged it as a bug and have corrected it. So now you can see all the icons are back painting correctly, as you would expect. So if anyone's on 18.01, I would suggest moving to 18.20. So, but yes, that's the update, and they are available now, and the website will be updated as in information-wise at the end of this webinar. But the installers are there now, so if you re-download, you can get them. Any questions on the updates? No.
So do they have the 18.2 version on there now?
Yeah, I just did that a minute ago. There.
Oh, okay. All right.
18.2. All the Reg3Com calculations are correct. In fact, this app is running Reg3Com. So this demo app here is all running Reg3Com.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So you are good to go, so to speak.
Yeah. I got a problem with that Reg3Com. In one of my applications, it's a NetTalk web server app that uses the chart control.
Right.
It's obviously all I use it for is for my reports.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have to go in there and create the charts, save the file as a GIF or JPEG or whatever I need, and then use it in the report. After so many intents using rage-free, it stops working. The graphs will no longer be created, and so I get blank reports, on where the graph is supposed to be.
But in the app's not starting and stopping, is it?
The app is not starting or stopping. No, the app is the same. It's a NetTalk web server. Obviously, it uses the different threads and so on to create and so on. But what I ended up doing is just taking off the reg free and just working just with the registered OCX on it, and it worked. And it's been working for about, 3 weeks now. But before that, when I was just doing the reg free, it would work for like a day, and it would stop doing the graphs. It'd be blank. So obviously the control was not listening to me anymore, or something like that.
Well,
it's kind of weird. Yeah.
It sounds like some kind of leak, but enough.
Mm-hmm. But all I did now was just use it as a registered OCX, and it works fine. So I don't know. I don't, just a single user using the OCX, I never really had any problem with the reg-free, but since this is obviously a multi-user NetTalk application, I don't know.
I mean, I can't say I've tested any of these on the on a NetTalk server and so on and so forth, but when I was doing the Chillcat Zero interface, then we had that using Reg3Com and left that running for 5 days, and it carried on working and sent and received as it should have done, and it was still working when I finished the test because I thought 5 days continuous was enough for that. So there's no reason why Reg3Com should fail. Basically, the only kind of failure you would expect to get would be during initialization if the settings weren't correct. But once it's up and running,
it was working fine. I mean, it would work for a couple days, and then all of a sudden they'd complain, "Oh, my reports are empty again." So I had to go in there and restart the app. And it would finally, it would work for another couple days or so. Finally, I ended up just using the non-reg-free version. Just registered the OCX on the server. Haven't had a single complaint since then.
Right.
Weird. Yeah.
Happy to put some debugging with you to see at what point it's thingy. But you'd have to run it on a.
Yeah. Well,
separate,
the thing is, I couldn't make it do it in my tests. Obviously, this was on the server with a whole bunch of different people accessing it and so on.
Yeah.
So it's not a real easy thing to debug, I guess.
No, because you're not good. You're going to be very, very hard pushed to replicate the kind of tests that they're doing on it.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, I found a workaround, and it seems to be working for me. But just as a heads up, there's something in the reg-free that might stop working for you. But
I won't put it as a NetTalk server because I'll take that out of the equation. But I'll create a little. Basically a test app that generates what do you do? Generate a chart and then save it to an image?
Yes, I save it to an image, a GIF or a JPEG, can't remember which one.
Okay, so if I did that and saved it out every few seconds, every 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and just leave it running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are different named. They're named differently, so I use the session ID and so on to get the file name so that I have a whole bunch of files there for each one, and then I just go in there and delete the stuff every once in a while.
Right.
But, things like that. I don't use the same name to save it in, but, after a while, they were just blank. I'm not sure if they didn't save the file or if it's not there. I didn't really dig into it any farther than that.
Okay, well, I can set a test up, take other third parties out of the equation, and just have it so it's a chart generating random data, and then regenerating random data and generating a saved image every 15 seconds, and just leave it running and report back to you. I'm happy to do that. That's not it's quite easy. I'll just take the example up and put a timer on it.
Right.
So that'll be relatively easy to do. So yeah, happy to do that. And we'll report back.
Okay.
So we've got any other questions on the update, or shall we move on to a couple of questions on Chillcat?
Alejandro wants to know something about Schedule ID.
Schedule ID. Okay.
I guess that's for the.
He's here twice. Which one is he?
Ah.
Alejandro?
I don't know.
Hello.
Oh,
How are you?
Yes, good
one
yourself.
disappeared.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. I have a question because when we are using a recurring, the reminder, when I assign in the schedule ID, they don't show me in the reminder.
Are they?
Do you understand?
Are they loaded?
Yes, in the load file record, I think.
Okay.
Wait.
Can you see? Is the calendar visual?
Yes,
Sorry?
they appear on the calendar, but they don't appear as a reminder.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you add a schedule ID to the reminder part, if you leave it blank, then it appears on the reminder.
Okay. There should be no reason for that, so let's take a quick look at that. Won't be a second. Just need to won't be a sec. Just getting the folder set up.
We made a workaround. Like I said, we just blanked out the schedule ID when we did loaded up the reminder calendar at the frame start, and so on. But
is this on? This is what I was saying. Is this on the app frame or is it on a calendar?
on the app frame, yes, on the app frame.
Right. So you can't see the calendar there then.
No, but once you load it up on the calendar, then they show there.
But have you specified the same resources? Basically, let's just show you in the thing here. So, because we'll repeat the same test, what you've got. So, masters, calendars. Let's just give ourselves, because I've got everything registered at the moment. There we go. Okay, we'll get this compiling. 16, I'll go 1640. Oh, sorry about this, won't be a second. Just waiting for my mouse to come back to me. Okay. So about this, people. Okay, okay. Okay, so do we have, reminders and schedules and reminders. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting this, and we've got staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, and we've got reminders that we can see there. So many hours overdue. Okay, so now what I'm saying is we know that the schedules and the reminders work. There's no reason for that. Now, but I want to make sure that the loading.
That's not on a frame, though. That's on a window.
Okay, so now I did say you can add it to the app frame, of course, and we can put our calendar. That's the reminder one, of course. That's what we're after. But you've got to make sure you will pinch the code out of the other. Schedule, reminders.
The load events.
Yeah. So I'm going to go down, pinch the load events. File load records, there we go. Very crude, but that will do.
That's good. And that's what we did.
Yep. But this won't work.
Oh, it won't?
No. There's a reason why. I mean, it should work. I mean, we'll set it working in a minute. But just this step alone, this won't work. Do you know what? I think I need to, yeah, I do.
Name.
In the calendar.
And then, yeah. Class name.
So, we shall run this, but I got no reminder. And that's because if we look at that load, it's looking for some kind of schedule ID and so on and so forth. Well, that's great.
We took those out. We took the break and we took the if and we just looped around the file. And then
right. Fine, but that still wouldn't work because in the calendar I've not defined any schedules. Now, if I go and say, okay, this staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, very crude. So now we open our app. Oh, kind of expected that to trigger a while. Oh, no, hang on. I know it's a silly, obvious thing to miss, but also forgot to turn on reminders.
Yeah, that might work.
Now, why haven't we got our reminder come up there?
Because they don't. Because they have a schedule ID.
Yeah, but as long as that schedule ID matches, you'd be fine.
No.
Staff 1. Okay.
See, go back to your load records on the frame.
I just
go
got
there.
I've got some
and
data
just
in there.
on the schedule ID, just blank it out. You know.
Oh, hang on. That's not the. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's just recurring.
Yeah. The event group schedule ID is equal. Just blank it.
Okay.
And then it works. No, I guess it's not triggering it. Yours.
Yes, maybe it's looking for something in the file event, and you don't have.
No, I would have expected. I'll be honest. On here, as long as it's got the schedules, very much doubt that'll make a difference. What I'm just going to put. I would have expected that to still load. Now let's just have a quick look at our staff 1, staff 2, staff 3. Of course, yours will be taken from a table, but we clear the schedules, we create the schedules, we update the view.
Is it reaching your load records?
No, don't think it. I don't think it is. Oh yeah, it's down there.
Oh, there it is. So looping through it. Did you add events to your frame? Maybe you need to load maybe it's not loading the file.
Oh, sorry, I haven't done. I haven't included the events table.
Yeah, there you go. That'll help.
Okay, no, I would have expected that to come up.
Oh, did we have the param date? Why don't you just take that line out?
No, you wouldn't need to.
Start date and end date, no?
No, this should find it anyway, so.
Well, we don't have. Do we have a param end date?
End date, no, but you do a start date. And the thing would receive it itself anyway from the calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Now for this, let's just get rid of some of the data. So, where's the events table? We'll get rid of the events. Let the program recreate it. So first in, you shouldn't find any records, and it'll come if you want to create some. Yes, we do. Go to our example. Not that one. And we've got some there, 6 hours overdue. Staff 1, staff 3. So we know that some data should come in for this example. So now let's restart it. It's got some of our test data. Oh, this is going to be...
It goes through the staff goes through them. Mm-hmm. But they don't appear. And that's what we get. Go back to your load records there and
let me put that
put like a blank on it.
Now they are coming up. We'd commented out the thing. So basically, just to recap, because I'd missed off the events before, and in between that, we've just commented out the schedule. But the main thing is here that you've got to define, if you're basically loading data and you've got some kind of schedule ID on your table, then
you need to add it to the
schedule has to exist in the calendar.
Okay, that's a problem then. ¿Sí entendiste, Ale? ¿Cuál es el problema?
No.
If you go back to the extension there, so that he sees what you added.
I mean, I've created it manually here in the extension. Yeah. I've said I want those.
Tienes que agregar todos los schedules en la lista.
Okay.
Si no, no aparecen.
Okay. For this reason,
los agrega. It adds them to the view. Yeah. So you need to have them there.
Okay. Okay. Now I understand. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Andy.
No problem.
I will test.
Okay. So yeah, you should be fine. Okay. Of course, if you don't define them there and you define them elsewhere, so for example, schedules from a table, then you just want basically that same type of, however you load them in.
So you could loop through your events file and get all the schedules that you have, and then just add them to the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, one of the examples here you've got is, let's just close that. Schedules, read from table. So this has got to say, okay, if that's ticked, so we'll look at the embed code for that.
Yeah, that's the part we were missing, actually.
Schedule staff, there we go. So if we look in here on the extension, we wouldn't say fixed, we would say basically created in embedded code, so it utilizes this, and then in the embed point schedules,
I have set in this way.
¿Ya
viste cómo está ahí, Ale?
Yes.
Yeah, you can set them that way.
Yeah.
So that at least the view has this information in it. Because we had it blank, so it only worked with the blank ones.
Exactly. The key there is it's got to the schedules ID has got to exist within the calendar. So now, if you don't define any multiple schedules, the calendar, the template behind the surface will create a blank entry schedule with just basically.
That's why the calendar worked.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why the calendar worked, but the reminders didn't.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
So, okay. One quick point I forgot to mention regarding the newer theme selections and so on, and it's not really a selection. The templates are all there and working and so on, and even a little speed increase on the loading of the themes. But one thing I'd found is in my examples, I had some applications using CodeJock version 16.4.0 when that was fine, and I was using the theme files from 16.4.0, and the two worked fine. I copied in the theme files from 18 into that, but still using an older version of the CodeJock control, and it either didn't paint correctly or it gave errors. And it's especially true if you reverse that. So if you use a newer version of the CodeJock control, e.g. version 18, and use the old theme files, which are version 16, for example, then I was getting errors and GPFs, and it's purely to do with how it's what it's expecting for those theme files. So what I would suggest is, let's just show you here. If I'm going to use for my application, and I'm going to use CodeJock, let's say version 18.2. So I start shipping these OCXs, reg-free com or not, it doesn't really matter. Then if you go into the samples folder, styles, they're the theme files which are for that version. Always use the related theme file, and then you won't have any issues. So it caught me out a couple of times, and I've had a user already complain that they were getting a GPF, but they was using version 18 with an old version. So, okie dokie. Right, we're going to move on to Chillcat, but very quickly, Bijan's just asked a quick question. I'll quickly open the mic. Hi Bijan, can you hear us?
Yes, hi.
Hi. So yours is related to the HTML editor, your question, and the spell checker uses the Microsoft Office engine. Your question is, can you basically distribute the spell checker but without installing Office? And the answer is no, not that I know of. One, I'm not sure which files you would do, but two, if you started shipping parts of Microsoft product without them having that, I think you'd be in a bit of a risky area licensing wise anyway, to be fair.
Okay. Yeah, so there's no option for like other third-party spell checkers for that. It's dependent on Microsoft Office only then.
Yes, yeah. Their website states that basically you have to use if you want to use a spell checker facility, it's built upon the Microsoft Office engine.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just it definitely works on all of my machines. It's just that I don't want to have to go through the hassle of installing it on like every server. We have dedicated servers that we would have to then install Office on every dedicated server, and just for the spell checker. So
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. So I just figured maybe there was a way to just maybe distribute the MS spell checker DLLs or something. It was a DLL I
could have a look for you. I don't mind doing that, but I think you might be just on a licensing issue. I think that you could be on you could be on a questionable ground if you started to do that, because basically you're taking elements out of Microsoft Office and then starting to ship it with your application when it hasn't got Office installed, and I don't know, I can't see them liking it personally.
Yes. Well, in the meantime, I could probably just remove the button for now, so that I don't get a call that the spell checker doesn't work. That's what I'm going to do for now until we figure out if there's a way to use other third party. Do you know if this is something that we could request from NBITS? Are they actively developing on this project? Are they still adding on stuff?
I'm trying to think. Last time I spoke to him, I'll have to see. I know he didn't reply to the last email I sent him, and that was probably about maybe I was going to say since Orlando, but actually I think it was before, so it was maybe late September. But he didn't reply. But then he could have been away himself and so on. So I can chase him up to see what see if it's still actively. I've not been told otherwise, so I can chase him up to see can we put a feature request in to allow some kind of hook into another third party spell checker. Of course, it's going to be easier said than done. I'm not sure how he'd hook into it, but
yes,
it's worth a try.
I mean, it's a great product, and you've done a great job with the template because you basically have switches for just about anything that is important to me. It's nice that we can turn off certain features, remove certain buttons, and that's important to me because I usually don't want to include anything that has file lookups.
Yeah, pictures and so on.
Yeah, especially when you're doing hosting, and it's on a dedicated server, it's on a server. But it's just just a thought, if we could use maybe a third party, instead of Microsoft. But it's a great product. It's just the way it is. I just removed the spell checker for now.
Yeah. I mean that's a bit of a shame, but at the DevCon, I think it was Sean who did a presentation on plugging in other spell checkers, but not with ActiveX controls or anything like that. It was just into Clarion and so on and so forth. But that wasn't natively. It didn't natively know about Clarion. He was hooking it in that way, so maybe that's an option. We could take a look at that. I think it was. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'll have to look at the presentations and see what it was. But he did one, and he basically hooked it into for use with Clarion. That might be an idea. It was an active spell checker product and so on, which would be quite nice to be able to use not just with the NBit but with just generally in my product anyway. I think he was tying it in with standard entry and text controls.
Great. My second question, and is that you showed your application with using the menus on the left, and I liked your paradigm. Your new style of buttons on the top. The command buttons, the insert buttons. The question I had was what are the controls that are involved? Now I have all of them since I bought all the
something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is a demo app, and you're welcome. Anybody's welcome to a copy of this. But basically, it is a command bar across the top, so we can see it's a command bar running in a ribbon type style across the top. We've got docking panes hosting anything below that. So then in the left-hand pane, the navigation pane, we've got shortcut bar. And in the shortcut bar, that is just running just standard options. So basically a Clarion tree. But it could host a task panel as well. But that's not. That's just a standard Clarion tree. On the right is the running procedure. So in this one, it happens to say browse contacts, and in that one, it could be browse emails and so on. On that browse, it's a frameless window, because it's docked into a docking pane. Across the top is a command bar on that procedure itself. Across the top is a command bar. Then we've got a report control, as you can see here, and a Windows text pad. Sorry, a normal Clarion text pad. But you've actually got docking panes on that window as well. Then they are hosting the field picker for this, so we can get rid of that. And there you go. So you've got your field picker there, and I think down somewhere further down, did I see some notes? Oh, it's message, but we could pin that down.
Mm-hmm.
Got a bit of a paint issue going on there.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, The controls which are being used there are the command bars, both on the window host and on each of the windows. Then there is a shortcut bar on the left, docking pane to host the different elements, and a report control to replace the Clarion browse.
I see. And this example app, where it can be downloaded, does it come with the when we install the template?
I'll zip it up after this and put a Skype it to you.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. The last question I have is that if I start using this menu options in the navigation, and if I'm using Sequin, will I be able to maybe hide certain options from the drop down?
Not natively just from Sequin. I mean, you can query the actual item and then manipulate certain options. So you could say, turn that one off or turn this one off, and so on and so forth. But you would have to manipulate the properties of that button yourself.
Okay.
So there are plans to enhance that, because we're going to release our own security product. So we've already added a new embed point called init security, which will go through, and there'll be settings on each of the shortcut items, the task panel items, and the command bar items for you to be able to say the condition from a third-party security product. So that will obviously be our own, and we'll probably cover Sequin and Mike's as well. But there will be the ability to be able to specify it in the template, but not yet.
Goal! I'm sorry.
So I was just going to ask, the security features that you're going to have. So will it enable the users to log in?
Oh, sorry, just 1 second. Someone's calling, but they can. I've just muted them.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so you would be able to set up users, and with your security product, you will be able to do the same things we do with Sequin as far as setting up users and access levels or supervisor levels, or
groups actually makes it a little easier, but yes, similar thing, but the standard approach. So you've got your users, they can apply to a group. You can say what reporting level they have, what access level they have, and basically what kind of things they can do. So you can specify them at a user level, or you can just put them at a group level. The tasks that you can actually define are unlimited. So just basically you can define your own equates or your own values or whatever. So you could say, for example, where are we? In here, and let's say we're going to here, and we don't want anyone to be able to change the country. So we could create a task of our own, give it an equate. Say, it doesn't really matter what the equate is, but you're giving it equate and you call it maintain countries or change country. So you can say, okay, this group or this user doesn't have permission to be able to change the country, and so on and so forth. So you'd be able to tie particular tasks, so you can define your own tasks from a security point of view, and then within the screens, your procedures, they'll take note of that. So all of those get loaded at initialization. They all get loaded up into memory.
Great, sounds great. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, we already use it in one of the products, so it's there. It's just never been templated up, and we purchased the rights to G security years ago. So now we're going to basically rewrite G security to bring all that, make it live again, but make it touch friendly as well. I'm not sure I've got any of the examples here. Just have one quick look. Won't be a second. Chances are I haven't, but I can always try. Oh, crikey, no, that's not it. I'm questioning where my live examples are then. So sorry a second, just waiting for this. Imagine this is nothing to do with. This is just a bolt-on to it. Basically, you'll have the template to enable you to. Let's just close that and make sure it goes back in again. You'll have the template which will do all your screen access levels, and then you've got your access base to go into each one of the procedures, control the attributes on different items within the procedure, and so on. But then basically, as add-ons to that, for touch screens and so on and so forth, you might want to prompt for user codes. So we can say, okay, we want to prompt for a particular style, use style 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the passcode. This is just a test app. So all of this is user definable. So you can say what the item is, the image is. So it could be one of your users' screen image pictures. Change your own prompts, and the codes are touch friendly and so on. But you can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, that's return true. We put that into a different style, and basically these change all the time. So you can see it's 2, 5, go back in again, 2 is over there. So now you're forcing the user to look and make a conscious effort to touch the screen to, so basically change each time to force them to, put the right code in. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, and there you go, and we'll get a true back and so on. So you've got little pop-up screens like that, and it's also fingerprint friendly as well, so there will be a fingerprint to it as well.
That is amazing.
So
that's amazing. Great.
The code, I've got the particular control, I've got the means to do the communications now and so on and so forth, and we did look at the facial recognition, and early tests are positive, but I don't want to commit to it until I've really pushed and I know what the licensing implications are as well. So
yeah. Cool. Thank you, Andy. And these are great add-ons. I mean, this is adds so much more value to the end product. Thank you.
No problem. Remind us after this. Drop me a quick message, and I'll zip this up. And everybody, I mean, we did release this ages ago, but I'll release the newer version, reg-free, compatible, and so on, and that. So
this is pretty much similar to what you showed me the other day, or when I saw on YouTube at DEF CON, where you had your own product, the medical officer that had the menus and the drop downs.
I do use it, yeah, basically.
That is okay. Great.
This is ours. I forget. Is this using reg-free com? Hopefully it is. Yeah. So basically, instead of the shortcut on the left, I'm using a task panel. But yes, basically we can go in, have a look at our forms, and it's very similar. We have docking panes hosting the task panel on the left. Lets us. I don't let them resize it; they can just pin back or bring it back. But then on the procedures, I have command bar across the top, giving them actions. I like to cut the screen into different areas. So navigation, actions across the top, work area in the center, so they are used to the work area being in one static place.
Yes, and this works. This is going to work much better for remote desktop because some certain window sizes, some of the buttons, if they're on the bottom, obviously they may get cut off, and they could create issues. But having the buttons on the top like that, with the action buttons, the way you have it, it's going to really help with RDP.
Good, cool, very good.
That sounds good. Great, thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we've got a couple of questions on the Chillcat. So who's first? Roberto, I think you jumped in at the start, and then we've got David as well. So you just sent us a file.
I just sent you on Skype. I sent you my Chillcat JSON file. See if you can make it work. And this is my email that I'm using with it. And it is...
this is... I get you. This is... what's this for?
For the Google Calendar.
Google Calendar, right, okay.
I can't get it to connect at all. And I don't know if the OCX is just ignoring me, or I need to send it the unlock code. Supposedly it works for 30 days, right? So I installed it 5 days ago or so.
Okay.
Trying to get it work, but I don't know. It might need
Okay,
You know,
let me have a look.
So if you try it on yours and it works, then it's probably something on my end. Or it might be the version. I downloaded the newest version of Chillcat, which is version 0.09 or something like that. I don't think it makes much difference.
Okay.
If you do the hot fix or not, I don't know.
Yes.
It seemed to work the same. If I added 68 or 69 there, it didn't really care. But it probably does make a difference. I don't know.
Jump into that.
I'm on 69.
So, go back one. Sorry. Chillcat, let's just have a look at this. What version is this on? So it's on 950 build 68, and that does make a difference on the Chillcat. So we'll just try it with mine first. Make sure this is still okay.
Okay. Are you on verse 69 too?
This is 68.
Okay.
So connect, unable to connect. Okie dokie. And that's because, let me change it to... No.
Yeah, and that's one thing we need to put on the webinar. How do you create that JSON file? Once you told me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to investigate farther. But I thought it was just a little JSON file with the username and password or something in there. And I know, and I was creating these little JSON files with a user ID tag on it, and I'm like, no, it's not working.
Let me have a quick look. I'll just move that off a second while I look at the... Yeah, that's the user edge free.com, so that's never going to work.
Yeah, I took mine off Reg free also.
Well, I just didn't want to disclose my license.
Right.
So
on my unlock code, I guess you need to start my 30-day trial or just leave it blank. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's,
somewhere that if you put that in there, start my 30-day trial, it'll start it. I'm not sure if it's working that way or not.
do you know what? That is going to... Okay, I'm just going to put my license details in on this. And that was already in there. Okay, no problem. Won't be a second. That's not my license. I'm trying to find where my license is actually. It's got to be here somewhere. Okay. Oh, crikey, no, that's not the license. That's 2011. That's my old one. Okay, so yeah, that's mine. Download, and I can download the JSON events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you're saying is, so that's our example. I'm just going to create another folder called Roberto.
Okay.
And we'll save your JSON to that.
Mm-hmm.
going to open it. I don't want it to open.
Studio, right?
There you go. Let's get rid of that. Just want to get to the downloaded file showing folder. So into here. Roberto, got that. And you got an email address that you associated with it, I take it?
I typed it in there
Yep.
on your Skype.
I should be able to connect, unable to connect. So, now, could do with getting some information back on that.
Andy?
Yes.
Alejandro, how do you know that the Google Calendar is connected to the OCX? Or let me explain. How do you know that the OCX is on in this moment? Do you understand?
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, one good thing I would always use, one good thing, one way, and it's not just for the Google, it's for all of the controls. I would, let's just put a button on there, and in our base class, we have an about button. Method.
Right. Remember I showed you that about one, and it was just blank? And Skype, when I sent you, when I did it. So it is responding, but I get a blank message.
Well, you shouldn't get that. So basically, we put oh no, what's this called?
Oh, I use the calendar CK blah, 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 about, and it calls it.
One quick question we've just been asked is where can we get the recorded webinars from? And if you go to our YouTube channel, they're all available on there. Some of the really old ones are missing. We do need to basically get some of the last year's and year befores and so on and so forth, get some of those and put them up. But all of this year's are on our YouTube channel, and they are cut into playlists per month. Okay, so there's
you
our.
just don't call the about message? You don't just call it directly?
I just want. Oh yes, actually, of course I could do. Yeah.
Why message? Right. There you go.
Just thinking, yeah, because I want to get something out. But yes, but basically, and this is true of any of our products. So if you're ever uncertain, has it initialized? Is it not working? You call the about, then that will return.
Mine was blank. Mine came out blank.
So your control hasn't initialized.
Is that because of the version?
It depends on which version you've got. I'm using
69.
Yeah. Now,
if
you're using, you can't just leave the license blank. I'm sure you still have to put some kind of demo in there or something like that.
Okay. So if you take the, okay. So certain parts of the control work, but some others, like the free XML, that will send you back the about box, okay, but the Google one won't?
Well, not necessarily. No, all of them, because they're based on our base class. So that comment, that about there is coming from the actual common class. So that'll work in all of our wrappers. You know, PDFs.
No. I understand that, but the Chilcat template, I mean the LCX, is composed of a whole bunch of components.
Yeah, but they're all based upon our base one. So as long as you call the about, then you'll get it regardless of which one you're using.
Okay, because I call the about and I just get a blank.
Yeah, so that hasn't it's not initialized. Now I've put a license code in. If you haven't,
right, but if I look, for example, I do
their examples say to
string builder class, I get an object. So obviously it is communicating.
You might have got an object back, but as it initialized. So the about is the only real way that you would basically guarantee that.
For example, the JSON object one, if I put a path and a content in there and put a build or whatever, it builds it. does work.
Right.
So obviously,
But that's one of their free ones, isn't it? They're not probably doing a license check.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. If maybe, and in another place I also read that if you add "start my trial" as a unlock code, it'll start a trial. But I couldn't get it.
For the trial, I mean, their examples on the website here do say to specify basically something in the. So you look at the
start my trial, my 30-day trial. It says.
Yeah, and in the global, they do an unlock code of anything for 30-day trial, and I think you literally can put X, Y, Z. You can put anything in there to kickstart your 30-day.
Okay, so if I just type in anything and recompile ABCD, it should work. Or
in theory, I mean, I've used this with the trial before going live and so on, because we had the really old one. We had it from 2011. I forget what version it was, but it was old. And then when we started to do the Google synchronization, we switched to this because it had the Google auth and the OAuth and so on. The things the rest that we needed. But yeah, we did it using the trial. So there's no reason why it won't work for you.
No, it doesn't.
See, I can't test on mine now because I've got my license, and my trial, it wouldn't work for me because my trial would have expired.
Right. So I'm thinking it's not triggering the 30-day trial at all. So I don't. That's what I'm thinking, anyways.
Trying to think how I could. Well, some of these might. Oh no, because if you're not initializing, well, the things I don't want to obviously go onto the license, but I would check the version number. So in your working folder, where's the example? Where's my folder here? So.
I have 9.5.0 and then I have 69 as a hotfix.
Right. Should work with 69. I can't see why not. This is version 68. I'm trying to see where I can see that detail. Oh, I'm on the manifest. No wonder I can't see it on that one. Yes, so 68. And the installer, of course, told me it was 68. It's just I've got a couple flying on. I've got 65 and 68. And I will bring down the 69. But basically, I set it to. I'm not going to go into the license because it'll show my code, but you can, put anything in there to kickstart the trial. In the register I'm using, that's the register within Windows. I should be able to go to reg3com.
Do you have 69 also, the reg3 of it?
No, but I can see about going getting it. So I'm about, so now I'm reg3com and still getting what I need back and so on. We've got your
which
thing.
Didn't work for some reason. So
so what I was going to do.
Wrong, I don't know, and that's probably something we'd like to look at and see how you create.
Yeah, we need to do that. Just have a quick look, but I'll do it off screen at my JSON compared to your JSON. So there's mine. No, they look pretty good. Yeah, no, they both look pretty good. The only thing I would say is in Google, but we'd have to do this as a separate webinar in its own right. Maybe next week we'll cover it, and then we'll type up some stuff and cover it on a Friday webinar for people who are doing just Google, not necessarily for our products, just for general knowledge and so on. Is basically the steps you go through. So I'm using a service account, so I want to.
Yeah.
I go to the Google area. I create some kind of, I think it's called a package, something like that. I forget now. Program package.
You go to a site called Developer.
Yeah, Developer. Yeah, Google.
Something site, and that's where you create it. Developer Google Calendar.
Oh, now why is it saying that?
Developers.google.com, that's what it's called. And they'll send you to the calendar API. That's correct.
Yep, I'm just logging out of this. I need to sign out. I'm in the wrong Google account.
Uh-huh.
So
However, you can log in with just a normal Google account, and it'll let you in without it being a Google Apps account, and you can do the same thing.
Okay. Trying to cancel. Well, it is a subject that we want to cover, and I'll put all the steps down. But it wasn't hard once I'd worked it all out. You create. I'm just going to go to the other one now. Developers. Trying to find the actual URL. I had them all bookmarked.
¿Tú te acuerdas del
No,
sitio?
I'll have to find them for you. I'm sorry, Roberto. I'll have to find them for you. But we'll cover that as an actual entity. But basically, to go back, can have a look at why this isn't. So let's see if we can get some information off yours.
Okay. I think I followed everything correctly, but I'm not sure why.
Well, basically, you created an application or a package, something like that. Then it gives you the option to be able to say,
to download the JSON
do you want what keys? Do you want OAuth 2 and do you want a service account? And I said, okay, I want to be able to access this via a service account. So I created a service account JSON file. That gave me the JSON file for it. Great. But then you have to go to the administration part of Google and say, link that package to read and write capabilities of the calendar. But by default, you should get read access to it. You might not get the write.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I was going to look here for you is NIS channel Chilcat. And we'll look at the now would that give us? Do you know what I could do with padding that out a bit more to give you the errors? Because what you can do, but we're not making use of it here because we're at the task level. Yeah. Sorry, let me just bring up the actual source of this so you can see what I'm referring to. So we want the our task Google class. So there's a connect. So you can see the connect makes use of a few different objects, base classes, the auth Google, and then it would make use of the socket, the auth Google again to link the two. The rest.
But I didn't see anything there about OAuth or anything.
It's the Google auth, which is based upon its own.
So that's OAuth.
That's auth Google. I think that is for, we look at the Chilcat help.
Because you also have an OAuth.
You have OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, yeah.
Yeah, Ali just sent you how you do the calendar stuff. It's console.google.
Yeah, but you also don't forget to go to the admin part to give it read-write access as well. It's in two separate parts. So the auth Google, basically they are saying, let's bring it into the show for you. Auth Google is basically for the cloud platform and the APIs, but it uses a service account. So if you're not using a service account, you would use OAuth 2. But if you're using a service account, you can use auth Google.
I sent to you, Andy.
Yeah.
A link where if you can open, you will see in the API and service, you can set in the credential the service account key.
Can you try this one, Andy? I sent you another one.
Yeah, you see, I'm still getting errors on mine, so I need to look at my Google. Sorry about that. But you sent me a different key. I'll just quickly try this.
It might be different, yeah.
Okay.
Let me give you. I think I made a mistake and gave you the wrong email address. If I was right, let me just.
No, you see, what I was going to suggest, and I'll need to do this, is normally if I'd got an error, then in the Chillcat I would basically interrogate the last error. There's a few. Last request header, last string result, last error text, last error XML, so on and so forth. So basically I can interrogate a few of these things. What I need to do is pad out the task classes to basically post that, because if we have a look, say that between that and, let's say, the socket. So let's go to the okay, well, it's not in there, but they are part of their properties. We can interrogate, so on the connection, I can interrogate, post the error straight away. What I'm saying is at task level, that connect, basically I'd need to incorporate some kind of error reporting back to you of which one of these. So did the OR fail? Did the socket fail? Did the REST fail to connect? So there's a few different elements. Because the task does all the work for you, I need to pad out some of the error reporting on that. So, but it was, it was a first build, but that's fine. But you can see as we are now, we've got an error, but it's not actually telling us what it is. And of course, it's pretty obvious it should do. So, I'll look at that. We're going to do some work on the Chillcat stuff today, but I think we're not going to get much of a chance to do that. But we have got another question on the Chillcat. If Roberto, for yours, to finish up on yours, you've got the steps on the Google console and so on for the service account. But first off, I'd get that working on yours. The about. You need to know that the control is initialized and it's talking back to you. Until you've got that.
To buy it or try downloading 68. I don't know.
One other, I don't know if anyone uses Postman, but Postman's a pretty good app. If you want to do some of your testing outside. So they do a desktop app now, which they didn't do in the past, but if we take a look here, Postman's pretty good for doing, basically you can see I'm doing some easy post work here, but yes, basically you can set all the headers and so on and so forth that you would need, so you could play about with that to talk to Google and have a look at working out the base comms and so on. Although you shouldn't really need to. Our classes will do it for you. I think you just need to make sure they're initialized first, and then you've got that.
We don't want to. We want to do it the easy way.
Exactly. Yeah, it's being easy stuff to make it all work and to find out why it's not working in the first place. But I'll create a couple of properties to say basically what has failed, what error stuff did it return to you, and so on. Because this is for the task type classes. The base classes, you can interrogate yourself at any point. So in the base class, you could go and just interrogate last error HTML, last error text, last what's the normal one I use? Let me just have a quick look on one of mine. I'm sure I use No, it's not in there. No, it's not that. But anyway, that's what will come along. So I'll pad out the task ones to report back more error reporting. get them done for you this week, because the updates to the CodeJock stuff's out this week. So now basically I can do some on the Chillcat. If we can quickly move on, then I know David's been here and waited. So David, I'll open the mic. I know you've got a Chillcat question. We might have just covered some, but let's fire away.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, how are you doing? Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, always interesting info. So, Chillcat guys, and I'm trying to use them with the legacy templates.
Right, yes. You sent me an email saying about it. It's missing out one of the initializations, is it not?
Yeah, and it looks like the all the initialization stuff. So I copied that from the example program.
Yep.
And then it starts working. But the reg free doesn't look like I haven't got that working.
Okay.
You know, so whatever I'm copying from example.
Well, let's take a look. I mean, let's just we'll prove the concept. But where are we now? Not webinars, user groups.
I am using it in a multi-DLL app, but that's about.
Oh, if you multi-DLL, then you would. Now, here's the thing on again for the whole product suite. It's not just the Chillcat. For the whole product suite. Let's say you've got a typical example of main application. We'll call it main. You've got one called procs, which is your procedures, and you've got your data. Now, the procs is where you use the calendar and the Chillcat, let's say, for example. So you have the global extension on there, and you say, basically, yes, I'm using the calendar, and I'm using the Chillcat, and I want them initialized and so on. You don't specify the reg-free comp there, because it's not going to do anything for you. It'll create a manifest, but it'll be procs.manifest, which is no good for you. So you add them to the main exe as well, and on there you don't use it anywhere. You just have the global extension on the main exe, but you say I wanted to use reg-free comp, and then it will write and change the manifest of the main application for you.
I was going to check. I think my main guy does have the.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Ah.
So you're saying add the global Chillcat guy to the
yes,
exe, to the main exe guy.
Yeah, and set that to be reg-free comp.
Okay. Will that take care of the init also then?
On the global, it won't do any initialization because you're not actually going to add it to any extensions of any procedures. It's just on the main exe, it's to manipulate the manifest. But in the in your procedures one, in the other apps within your multi-DLL, that's where you would we might have that issue where it's not initializing in legacy.
I gotcha. Okay.
So now on this Chillcat, try to find the name of it. Oh, it's not that, it's DLL, isn't it? Chillcat AX site. So we'll just make sure. So that's now unregistered. That's good. Let's just run this, make sure we've got our about. Not Dropbox. Yeah, so this is set to run reg-free com, and it's still running. So there should be no reason why your reg-free com shouldn't work. And if we just go onto this, take a look. Let's bring this folder back into play. And just as any of the others, you'll have of your main exe.manifest. It will create you this element down at the bottom, dependency. And to go hand in hand with that particular version number, of course, that is important. And to go hand in hand with that, it will have created you another manifest, which is that one there, for the correct version. So if we look at that, you should see that that is, well, actually that I haven't got it stamped, but it is the one for the 68.
It says about of 68 version.
Yes.
9.5.0.68.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't see. So basically, yeah, but I think in your case, hopefully it's just the multi-DLL, and it's because the main application manifest hasn't got the dependency in it.
You mean for generating the init piece in it? Is that what we're talking about, or just the registry piece?
The registry com. So let's just go back into it. Let me show you. So have you got, well, first of all, what manifest have you got? Have you got that one created?
That one doesn't seem to be creating a manifest, but I might have to go into the global settings here and tell it to generate it.
Well, this isn't the thing we're specifying here isn't just for Chilcat. It's for any of the registry com. So it's a calendar. Well, it's any of them really.
Yeah, I think I actually have to go into this particular app and tell it then to generate it. Yeah, now it does. Okay. And so, yeah, it looks like I've got the dependency there.
On the main exe, that's good.
Yeah. So I guess I can go over to my other guy here and try it. See if I want it. Yeah, okay. So that fixes, yeah, that little piece. Yep. So the reg free was that deal.
Cool. And as I say, that is true of any. So you use same multi-DLL and using the calendar in just one particular DLL, you still have to add the calendar global extension to the main exe and specify the registry com there. Don't specify it on the procedure DLL, that application, because you don't want that generating the manifest or changing the manifest. You just want it on the main exe.
Okay. I guess I gotta go better check that.
Wouldn't be the end of the world if you put it in both places, but
And then just say do not register in the other one.
Yeah, on the
And do not include license.
Oh no, you do want the license on the. You don't.
Okay.
You don't need the license on the main exe. You do need the license where you're going to use it.
Well, so if I in the register, like for the DLL, that not for the main exe, but for the DLL, that's where I would have do not register.
You do not register, but you would include your license info.
Okay, so the compile license into app and put the app code there. Okay.
Yep.
But then you're saying on the other guy, he doesn't need the code. He just needs the reg free.
That's right. Yeah.
And there it would say do not include license.
That's right. Yep. You just wanted it to manipulate the application's manifest file. That's all.
I see. Okay.
Andy,
Yes.
you need to make these things multi-DLL aware.
I know.
I mean, it's a brand new thing. You should have started it completely with the whole thing.
I know.
My life in the one place and not everywhere. Right.
Definitely. Yeah, preaching to the converted. Agreed.
You're the one that's got the power to fix that.
I've got the power, just haven't got the time. Well, that's not quite true now, but in the past, time has been a thing. And
That's right. Now you've got the time, so you've got to commit. You've got to make this a Christmas present for us all. It'll save everyone so much time.
The main, yes, agreed. But the other thing I want, because we get asked all the time, and it's it's a plan between Christmas and New Year. I am going to write, just like Kojak have their little app down in the tray. I want the Noyantis app down in the tray, and that'll do all your updating for you, so you'll never have to run the installers again.
That'll be nice.
That'd be sweet, yeah.
So you can just sit there, and it won't go and update all your Clarions for you. It'll just bring them down into its own, basically, cache, if you will, and then when you give it the green light, it will go and update whatever Clarion setups you've told it to go and update. So if you say always keep your C10, because for me, I have quite a few under my Clarion folder. I've just say Clarion 10, and you can see all the different Clarion 10s I've got for different projects and different applications and so on and so forth. So I've got different ones. So you'd be able to tag all those and say, okay, bring that one up to date, keep that one, leave that one alone because that's a release build and so on and so forth and that kind of thing.
And multi-DLL.
Yes, we've got to tackle it. We've got to tackle it. Well, now it's all baby steps, and this the theme selection was the first part of it. So would have been nice to get both in at the same time, if truth be told. But just one was holding the other up, and I needed to get something out.
I know. Well, see, I'm starting to use the ChillCat, and so I had to put ChillCat into 3 different places, and I had to copy my license key into 3 different places, and it's just.
Oh, what I'm doing is I'm keeping exercise for your fingers and your mouse. That's I'm thinking of your well-being.
I don't need any more exercise for my fingers and my mouse.
So,
can we check the the legacy guy, the generating the init stuff?
Let me take a quick look in here. So
I remember that I fixed that in my templates. I could probably give Andy the fix I did. You're right. You left them all out. All the legacies were gone.
Legacy, is that it? Legacy?
I think so.
So we do the init prepare. Should have the init.
The only thing I got one was the resize init. Is the only one that looked like it generated.
What are you in? You're in Chart Pro? Is that where?
But you got the resize. I'm just trying to see where.
In the ChillCat guy. Yeah.
ChillCat, not Chart Pro, Andy.
Oh. That's crack, I have. I missed a lot out.
I know. I put them all back in, though. If you want me to give you my code, it'll make it easier for you.
Yeah, apologies for that. I thought I might have missed one, not the lot. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's going in tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yeah, apologies for that. There'll be a 102 available.
102. Oh, no. This is just for ChillCat, right?
Yeah, that'll be ChillCat. But yes, basically. I got the email come through. Obviously, it was while I was over in France, but wow.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about that last Monday, but you weren't here, and I forgot about it. Yeah, sorry about that.
ChillCat Legacy. Wow. Apologies for that. I thought I might have missed one or a typo or something, but not missed a lot out. So, and we make sure all our products are like that. So
I think that's legacy discrimination there, huh?
It is, yeah. It is.
Multi-DLL discrimination. It's all coming out now.
Yeah, I think there better be an investigation.
Come to the light. Let legacy alone.
Legacy Gate.
Mm-hmm.
So, okie dokie. Any other questions before we wrap up? Yes, sorry, by the way.
The other one they had there was the on the ChillCat still the HTTP. I was trying to trace, like what's happening, what's being sent back and forth.
Okie dokie.
Between the machine and the server, to be able to debug it. And I normally use Fiddler, but ChillCat doesn't seem to work with them, so I sent their email to their tech guys, and they said that's correct, that the Fiddler probably won't work with it, but that I could use an HTTP set or session log file name.
Sorry, say again.
It said that there was a session log file name that you could set using the HTTP class. And so this Chuck also talked about the other day. I did
property. Oh, hang on.
I think that was on
might already be
Wednesday or something. We did the direct OCX command to get that to work, but I couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
Even when we looks like I said it correctly.
Is there a log?
Yeah, it's in the HTTP set log file name. That's him.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure. This is it. Verbose
so John
logging?
showed.
Did you turn
Yeah,
verbose
John.
logging?
I don't think so. They need to do that also.
I'm not sure. See, I do use that to get the errors and so on. So basically, what I was saying before about dropping some more errors and so on. Session log file name's not saying anything about that. Let's have a quick look at their help.
It looked pretty straightforward, but it doesn't create the file and nothing. Just nothing happens.
What?
Yeah,
Unless
so
anybody
are you
knows
using,
another way to debug
are you
it.
using set property?
I ended up using the http.direct OCX command, and then gave it the session log file name and then a file name.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll quickly do. This can go into tomorrow's. So just 1 second. So we've done obviously all the methods. You can see plenty of plenty of methods there. But let's create you a set. So where was there? Let's go back on that.
Yeah,
Session.
session log file name.
Yep, just looking for it. Can't see if there you go. Because I was also still got to go through, but do all the getters and setters. Someone's got them, some haven't. So let's do get a session log file name. Now, I don't think it tells you. No. We can try this in a second, but it would be.
Mine's not formatted like yours, so maybe I need to format it better. The file name or something.
Actually, that's just a straightforward return. So that's one. And that can actually return a
Success or not?
yeah. Oops.
A really crackly headset today.
Sorry?
Andy, you have a really crackly headset today.
Oh, sorry. Well, this is the normal one, but of course I unplugged it and took it to France with us. So sorry about that.
Oh, They did something to it in France, it looks like.
Blame the French. I'm not quite sure you can get away with that. Listen, so, first of all, let's make sure that that still compiles. I've got no HTTP things in there, but I cannot. I take it set property. That's a shame if that's the case. I always thought set property returns you a true or false. No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. Not the end of the world. In that case, the best I can do is just
try to do it.
Just do it. In fact, I suppose I can just go the whole log and just execute what you're telling me. If you pass it a quote, it will set it as quote.
Yeah.
Might not like it, but
Yeah.
okay. I could just go in tomorrow. And last but not least, so I don't forget, okay, I'll test that through and get it reporting some thing. I'll probably add an example, so I'll get it talking to the Noyantis website as an example app, and add it to the example app for you. So that can go into tomorrow.
Yeah, they said that would log all the traffic back and forth.
Well, I mean, we can try it here now quickly, although I'm going to have to wrap up shortly, but global all classes string builder, let's just quickly. Oh, it looks like here's one I prepared earlier. Anyway. I'll do it, must do it on there then, call, yeah. We'll pinch that one for now. And I'll tell you what we'll do very crudely. We'll just have a button for Noyantis on there, and then I'll pad it out to a more meaningful example tomorrow. It's just something for now.
Yeah, if it'll create a log file for you, that's pretty good.
What are we going to do? CK HTTP. Nope, it's not defined. Just thought.
Oh, in the client. Oh, I see. turn it on over there.
Yeah. And turn off the string builder. Now, what have we got open to us? Because I use the download of this. We just really want to just do maybe, what are you using? Just a quick get?
Yeah, connect and a get and a... connect, yeah, and a request, I guess, is a... Really anything should work. I mean, connect and something.
I'm just trying to think. We don't get a header. Get domain there. Just get wouldn't really do it for us, to be honest.
Yeah, it should tell us.
I think maybe just straightforward. Try download. Download that the web page. Should we try that?
Should work.
I mean, I use the download in the EasyPost stuff to bring down the PDF labels. EasyPost is a gateway for sending parcels. And when I've done all the work and so on, it brings down the PDF labels.
And you don't need to connect or anything. You just
no.
That's it.
No, not for that. So first of all, let's just see that's working. What have I missed? Actually, what have I missed? Oh, it's in the class. Oh, the object. Should have really. So.
You should have created that file.
Noyantis HTML.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
It's a bit crude. There's no CSS on there, but we have
Does it though?
We have it. So basically, we want to try the logging.
Yeah, logging on beforehand.
Not that corrected for me, but okay.
Sometimes it, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a log? We have a log. We have a log, but we don't have to turn anything on. So our log was sending, received.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah. And then here's what we got back. Huh? The length of it. Yeah. Permanently, and there's all your stuff. Oh, it does a little send and receive further down here too. Huh? Or is that like a second one or something that we did maybe? No, I don't know. Looks like there's several though.
Yeah, okay. So then it's received 301 for that. Makes me think of reading actually, yeah. But you got to read 200, and then when it's got it 200 off it goes. Oh, might have to do some reading up on my own here. So I've got problems on mine, but basically that's the thing you're after. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get that all across to you. I'll get the legacy working. Sorry about that.
Okay, appreciate that.
And we'll get an update out to you tomorrow.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
So cool.
Thanks, Eddie.
Okay. And next for that will be the Twilio. John, have you made any progress on that, or because I do actually want to get that added as a task. So
The S3 would be good too if you could.
it's covered in the HTTP. Just need to create an example, but it's covered in there. The S3.
Oh, the S3 stuff is?
Yeah. We're looking here for S3. There's a whole host of them.
Oh, those are actually working then?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll let you know how it works.
Yeah, I've got to create an account. I know very little about it, so you might be one up on me. So yes, please report back next week.
Yeah, we use it quite a bit, but I need something to go in and clean it up, and that's kind of what I was trying to do here. So we got like millions of photos out there that.
Right. So basically, you got the
Be cleaned up.
list of buckets. You should be able to get the content, remember rightly, from it. Where create bucket, delete. Should be a list somewhere. Download. How is this? No, it's not that. There, list bucket objects.
This would be a good test for it because, like I said, there's there's a lot of them.
So yes, very good. And of course, it's just the base. So if we can, if you need the task, if you go, Andy, that's great as a base, but I'm finding I'm having to do that just to be able to get one particular meaningful job completed. Let's create a task for it. That's the whole point of the task ones. They're helpers.
I got you. Yeah, they're actually kind of easier than you think. I'm almost overthinking them. Like thinking that I need to do more than I need to do. Like that download. That I would have thought, well, you had to connect and do some stuff where I really don't need to.
9 times out of 10. With the others, for the rest and so on and so forth, then yes. But I happen to know that the other day I was using that for the, like I say, the easy post. I was placing orders and so on, and when you've got a successful order created, then it gives you the download URL, and you just hit download,
and that's it.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, because basically that download is just a standard URL which you could actually go to visit. It's a PDF, so you can go and visit it via a browser. So there is no connection details, there's no security, and so on and so forth. It's really for your private URL.
As long as you can just get there publicly, then
exactly.
Then it's available. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been finding they're pretty easy to use. The documentation's good.
Yes. Yeah, and I've got my work cut out wrapping all the things, but it's going to be an ongoing task, but one that I'm looking forward to.
Well, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate that.
No problem. Okay, we shall start wrapping up. No other questions. I'd like to thank everyone for attending.
Okay. Thanks again.
Okay. See you all next week. Cheers.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.